Hello, beautiful souls. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I am here with the beautiful Ranelle St. Luke. Thank you for being here, Ranelle.
Hey there, Christy, and hi everyone that is with us.
I know she has Ranelle in there, but I call her Ronnie.
Yeah, I mean, I answer to both, but my friends call me Ronnie.
That must be why I call her Ronnie. I
Exactly.
just adore this lady. We are here because we have created, if you have been following any of me or her, you've been seeing some advertisements come out about a mastermind class that we are just so passionate about. And we have both, and it came about because we were talking and we both noticed this shift in the women, and just the collective of females around us, where everyone is just so tired of performing. Like we perform to these identities. We check boxes of society. That over functioning, it's like we wear our exhaustion as a proud cloak of everything that we do. But that hyper capable, overgiving version is dissolving. And I want you to think about the powerful person that is rising in its place. And we talked about it, and it's the creatrix. It's not that martyr.
Yeah.
It's not that person that has to manage everyone's feelings. It's not that woman who lays down at night just so exhausted that she hasn't even taken care of herself. She's been so worried about everyone else. It is the
Yeah.
creatrix. And that creatrix woman understands that she is a force of creation. And it is a life that she is designing. We go through, check these boxes, and then we think that we are designing our life, and we're really just maintaining these roles that have been put on us. The
Yes.
creatrix designs. Then we start using our intuition as intelligence. And our desires of how we want to create our life no longer become wishes, but they become directives. I do have a warning about this though, because there is an uncomfortable part about it. When we start dissolving those rules that we have lived by, it makes us uncomfortable. But I want everyone to remember that's where our power resides. When you step into that feeling of uncomfortableness, that internal rebellion, you are shedding. Shedding isn't pretty, but I will tell you, it is powerful. So that's what
Yeah.
Sheila and I are here to talk about.
Yeah. And Christy, if it's okay for me to just kind of build on what you've just shared, like you
Absolutely.
said,
Yes.
there's something very real that is happening with women right now. We're in the early part of the year, and energetically, this is, sort of that threshold season. It's a time where what no longer fits, it becomes really obvious. The roles, they become heavier, the patterns, they feel a lot louder. The
I do.
identities that we've been living inside of, they start to feel really tight and constrictive. And what I'm seeing amongst women, just in my personal life, as well as, clients, is that they're no longer satisfied with functioning. They don't want to just hold everything together. They don't want to just manage. They don't want to just survive. And they don't want to survive their responsibilities, right? They,
Right.
like you said, they want to create. That's where, that creatrix identity, it comes in. And a lot of what you said, is, you hit the nail on the head when it comes to the creatrix, but also the creatrix is the woman who stops reacting to life and she starts
Yes.
authoring it.
Yeah.
She doesn't abandon her responsibilities, she just elevates her relationship to them. She builds
Absolutely.
from identity, not from obligation. She creates her money, her standards, her
Mhm.
direction, her leadership, all of it from alignment. And I truly believe that 2026 is a year where women are either going to double down on those old roles, or they're going to step into a new level of authorship.
Mhm.
And, the women that are ready to rise, but they need the structure, they need the identity shift and the integration to actually do it. Those are the ones that, we're speaking to today, right?
Right. I want to real quick, want to say hi to Elizabeth. She commented. I don't know. Here, let me. There you go. Now can you see the comments? I don't know if you just saw Elizabeth.
I can't see the comments, but that's okay. Oh, there it is. I
Yeah, there
see
is.
it.
I was gonna say
Hi,
I
Elizabeth.
forget
I'm
for
new
it
to
to
this
for
platform.
Ronnie to be able to see it. I had to click a little button, so I clicked the
Okay.
little button so she could see it. Hi, Elizabeth, and I want to thank everyone who is joining us out there. If you have any questions about what Ronnie and I are talking about, please put them in the comments. We would love to have some participation and answer any of your questions. Now, Ronnie, I do want to talk about a little bit. What does it? I know you touched on it a little bit when you were talking just now, but I want to ask specifically so that people have this train of thought that I'm on, because it's all about my train of thought. What do you think it actually looks like when a woman stops reacting to life and starts consciously creating, stepping into the creatrix role? And how does she know she's entering that shift?
Yeah, that's a great question. The thing is, I think that it looks a lot quieter than people expect.
I
It's not
agree.
always this, dramatic thing. It's not always a big life overhaul. Sometimes it's simply the moment that she pauses before saying yes. The moment that she questions a dynamic that she used to tolerate. The moment that she stops automatically absorbing everyone else's needs. She
Yeah.
starts asking herself different questions. Not what do they need, but what do I want?
Yeah.
Not how do I keep this stable, but is this aligned? She knows that she's entering that shift when what used to feel normal, it starts to feel misaligned, when she
Yeah.
feels restless, when the version of her life that once felt secure, it starts feeling limiting, when she can sense that she's meant for more, even if she can't quite articulate what more is yet, right?
Mhm. Right.
That's the
Absolutely.
beginning of that creatrix like awakening.
Absolutely.
It's
Yes.
the moment that she realizes that she doesn't just have to manage what exists in front of her, but that she can actually build what is next.
Absolutely. I love what Ronnie was talking about. She was using the words like feeling, and sometimes we discount our feelings, but that's really where the change begins, is in our nervous system.
Yeah.
When we just stop living from anticipation, you stop bracing. And sometimes we live in this constant state of anticipating the next need from us, that constant, where's the next hit going to come from? That is not a creative space to be in. And what Ronnie was, I've been using this word a lot. Ronnie has, what she was like, I just fell on my mouth the last week, but she was just talking about it, is congruence.
Yeah.
Like when you can feel your nervous system aligning with your outward manifestation of what you're creating in your life, there is this beautiful congruence that you feel, that there's just a beautiful, powerful feeling. And then I want you all to think about, what could you ask yourself? The creatrix, if you are planning your life, if you're building your life, you don't wake up with this anticipate, what's needed for me today? What do people need? No, you wake up with a calm of, okay, what am I here to build? What am I here to embody? And then you start, and I'm not saying that you don't feel things. I'm not saying that never react. It's about responding, though.
Right.
You stop over explaining yourself. And when you feel triggered, we're not saying, Ronnie and I aren't saying you're never going to be triggered. We said I went into this creatrix role. But whenever you are triggered, instead of reacting to that trigger, you don't choose that as an identity. You choose from a place of empowerment, and you
Right.
allow yourself to sometimes let silence be silence. Have you noticed that, Ronnie? Sometimes we are so afraid of that silence.
Yeah, I mean, well, and that goes back to the topic of sovereignty and wholeness, right? You
Mhm.
mentioned something that's really important to kind of break down, which is, somewhat of that anxiety, or maybe we'll say more so this pressure to keep moving and to perform. That is coming from that old dynamic that has been placed on you by other people, where you have been, as a woman, reduced to a function and to a role that other people find beneficial in their lives, right? And that pressure is coming from the fact that externally, and this happens to all women, like I've gone through that phase and had to work through it too,
Absolutely.
where it was no longer about satisfying the function that someone else needed me to play in their lives, and for order for their lives to be fruitful, for them to feel fulfilled, for them to
Mhm.
feel like their journey is moving forward in the direction that they plan for themselves, and to really step back and say, where is my energy actually going? When you are caught in this, I'll say, matrixed system of playing the function for someone else,
Mhm.
when you take that step back and you look back at yourself, you realize how much of yourself hasn't necessarily been lost, but how much of yourself and your life has been placed on pause because you haven't necessarily accomplished goals you may have had for yourself. You may not have been fulfilling pieces of yourself because you were busy pouring your energy into other people for that validation. They convinced you that that function and that their validation was required in
Mhm.
order for you to feel fulfilled, in order for you to feel happy. And, some relationships, they end, whether it be romantic, friendship, business, even familial. And that's why when those relationships end, women can feel that like very hard, whether it's the woman that ends it or someone else that ends it, because in that moment you don't know who you are anymore, because the function and the role you were
Yes.
playing in that dynamic, it had taken over everything. And now you feel like, oh gosh, I have to start over again. But when you are sovereign and when you're embodied, you never take on a function or a role that isn't aligned to your own well-being, to your own forward and upward movement. And it becomes less about whether people like you or not, and whether people are actually aligned with you, because those who are aligned with you will never ask you to compromise or for you to settle or for you to shrink pieces of yourself.
Absolutely. You know, Ronnie just unpacks so much in that little bit. It was just so beautiful. And I want people to remember, we're not talking about, when you look at Ronnie or myself, I mean, I play a lot of roles. I'm a mom. I've been married for 40 years. I'm even a grandmother. I'm a friend. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm all these things. So we aren't talking about not playing those roles, but we're talking about doing it from a place of sovereignty where you're not waiting for permission on how you want to maneuver in that role. You're not waiting for permission for someone to tell you how you can perform or what you can do. You are stepping into it from a place of creating. This isn't about managing your life and managing those roles. It's about creating what you want.
Yeah.
It's about you think about women, we are beautiful creators. We create joy and life. We What we need to do is step into our power of doing that, embody that. Stop waiting for permission because
Yeah.
you don't need permission. You have all the power. You have everything it takes within you. And sometimes we get stuck in that fear because we've been so conditioned to wait for permission from outside
Yeah.
that we are afraid to step forward. And so this mastermind class we've created is about embodying our power. It's about stepping forward into it and creating exactly what we want instead of trying to manage roles. We're not managing anything, we're creating our lives.
Yeah, and I think a good, like, it's a very overused but very true statement is that is what is meant for you won't miss you.
Yeah,
And I think when you apply that to your daily life, it really means when you are clear about who you are, you've done the work to really say, you know, I'm Renelle. This is my path forward. These are the guiding principles for my life. These are the things that my soul and, through my relationship with the creator, I know that this is my path forward. When you stay on that path, and I always like to compare things to like a train because it's a very easy visual. Trains have multiple stops, right? People are going to get on and they're going to get
yeah,
off. The conductor of the train, which is you, doesn't get upset about who gets on or get off. You just know that, okay, this is the path forward for this train, your life. And the ones who get on and stay on, it's because they're meant to take that full journey with you. The ones that get on and get off, those are the ones you had to learn some sort of a lesson. There was something you were supposed to experience with that person. And now it's time for them to leave. And the people that never get on the train, that are on the platform and just never get on, hey, they were never meant to be a part of your journey. And it's a very simplistic analogy for your life and the experiences that they go through. But fundamentally, at the core of it, it's you being the conductor, you being at the head of the train, driving the train. No one else should be driving the train. And it goes back to what I said about, not having to settle or having to compromise. If something or someone is meant to be a part of your journey, they will just be aligned to that. And yeah, sometimes the how you get there, it might be different than what you thought, but the end goal, like the stop, it won't change because that person is on the same page with you. They're like, yeah, this makes sense
right.
for you, and it also makes sense for me. They're not
Absolutely.
forcing you to be something that you're not and go along with them on this journey that takes you on another track.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. Whenever you're talking or thinking of that track, you're on this train track, you're making these stops, what are you attracting? You have to think about the universe does not read words. It does not understand language. It understands frequency. So what Ronnie was talking about, I mean, you could just feel the congruence of being on this train track and you're stopping exactly where you're supposed to stop. When you live that kind of congruence and that kind of embodied action, and when I'm talking embodied action, I'm talking about purposeful movement, creating the reality that you want. And you do that not out of fear. You do that out of very regulated, decisive movements. Sometimes we take too many opinions outside of ourselves. We're talking about you sitting with your soul's purpose and making decisions based on what is right for you. So when you're in a group of women who are there to support you, it's just a beautiful feeling of expansion. And that's what this mastermind class is about. It's about being with like-minded people. Now, Ronnie's goals might be different from my goals. That doesn't really matter because we are going to have embodied action. It's about taking actions that are congruent with who we are and moving forward. And when you have that kind of beautiful congruence in a group, it is amplified.
Yep.
And what it also does, which I love this, is it kind of gives you a mirror back to yourself to say, okay, this is what I'm capable of. Sometimes we forget. We forget how powerful we are. We forget the ability we have to create our own beautiful reality. Because again, so we have been taught to look outside ourselves for that confirmation, for that permission, for that partner to understand, or for the kids to be older, whatever that is, that we're looking ahead. Oh, I'm gonna do this then. The time is
Right.
now. The time is
Exactly.
now to embody who you are. 2026 has some beautiful energy. I so agree with Ronnie that I truly feel like this is the year that we are either going to double down on those roles that we've taken on, or we're going to shed them and step into our power and our creative abilities and create the abundance we want. Whatever that abundance looks like for you. It may be money, it may be family, whatever abundance means to you. It's time for you to create it from that embodied source.
Yeah, and I kind of want to add too, because you're bringing up something that's super powerful, um, around what happens when a group of women who are powerful, whether you know that you're powerful or not. This is the thing, women in general, naturally, like it's in our system, it's in our codes, it's in the blueprint
Yes.
that makes us who we are. We are powerful. It's just that, your environment, whether it be people, your community, your family, um, career, like people, they can make you start to shrink
Yeah.
and not really feel as powerful. So, for those of you that are here live or who watch this later on as a replay, please know the creator made you woman and made you powerful,
Yeah.
and that is part of your blueprint. But what I wanted to say was that, in a sacred container like this, like what Christy and I have created with the rise of the creatrix, when you have not just like minded, but energy and frequency aligned women who are all focused on the same goal, underlying goal, because how it materializes for you is going to be different per person, but you're all putting your energy and your frequency towards this rise of your creatrix. What happens is everything, it just accelerates. And I think it's also important to call out that when women try to ascend alone, they can start second guessing themselves. They spiral into their own thoughts. They shrink when things start to feel uncomfortable. So, like what Christy was saying earlier, where it's like that twinge of fear or doubt or a little bit of anxiety that's starting to creep in. But when you're inside the sacred container, that, this space that Christy and I are creating, that is, a room of women who are also rising, even if it's just one other person, the identity, it starts to stabilize faster. The expansion that you're on the threshold of, it starts to feel safer for you to claim. And your standards, they start to elevate collectively. And the rise of the creatrix, it's not just about learning information, absorbing information. It's about anchoring that identity in real time. You know, think about it, energy of money, sovereignty, integration, activation. All of those things are going to be happening during that 4 week period. And it's really intimate, intentionally. And it's because this work, it really requires depth. And
Yes.
it's really a moment of that decision making that Christy was talking about, and that intentionality towards you as woman, stopping the cycle of reacting and functioning and shifting your energy into creation and to what you're going to build for 2026. Like, this is a very transitional and very transformative year. And
Yes.
like I said, I'm repeating it again because it's important. You're either going to double down and then continue to stay in the same role and the same function, or you're going to take the opportunity that, the creator, the universe has presented, you know, what you experience, the things that happen to you, information that, all of a sudden pops up in front of you. It's all for a reason because you're at a threshold. You're going to feel some resonance. What you're hearing, even right now, you're feeling something, and you're
Yes.
either feeling, ah, I'm scared, or this feels like me, I'm excited, or it's even, yeah, I feel like this makes sense for me, but I don't know how to move forward. And you have to make the choice. This is where the intentionality of the creatrix comes in,
Yes.
because it's you doubling down on the identity that you're going to move forward in.
Right. I know that Ronnie and I have used a lot of powerful words today, beautiful language, but I want everyone to understand. Hello, everyone. I see some other people saying good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank
Hi,
you so much for
everybody.
joining us today. I want you to think about this class, Rise of the Creatrix. It's a mastermind class that Ronnie and I have been very intentional about creating. Ronnie and I have worked individually with people, helping them create and do what we are going to be teaching in this class. It is a hands on step one, step two, step three. So if you think that, oh, yes, that's for other people. Yes, I know other people are powerful. Yes, I know other people are creators, but I can't do that. Yes, you can. Every single person is a powerful being in their own right. Every woman is a creatrix. And Ronnie and I have developed a very step one, step two, step three. It's a safe container. Everyone there is very going to be, because if you're watching us, you are going to be very empowered and kind and loving, because that's what Ronnie and I attract. But just know it's going to be a safe place, and you're not going to leave this class wondering, okay, how do we do this again? No. We have
Yeah.
a very linear, laid out path of how to create and embody the energies that we're talking about to create the reality you want. No longer are you going to be managing your life. You're going to be active participant, creating exactly what you want to do. And that whatever abundance looks like for you, that's what you're going to be creating. Abundance might look
Yes.
different to Ronnie and to me, and then whoever else is in the class. This is about creating and being congruent with what your soul's path is, not your neighbor's.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is, I would call on everyone who, is here live or who happens to catch the replay later. Um, you know, Go to Christie's bio, go to my bio. Right now, the class is sitting on Christie's website. And, we've laid out an outline like week by week
Yes.
for each specific class for the 4 weeks. And I think that that can serve as a good journal prompt for you, right? To really sit down with the themes that we're covering during that mastermind and ask yourself, well, how does this fit into the life and the identity that I am living right now? And how does this fit into the identity that I want to embrace? Because there are many archetypes for women, but right now we are very much in the creatrix. And I think that,
Oh my goodness. So it looks like we just lose Ronnie? Oh,
I'm
there you
here.
go. There you go. She's back. We lost her for a second, but she's back.
I don't know what happened. Sorry, guys. But I know that we're kind of at time, but I will wrap up really quickly. I think just use that outline to do journal prompts for your current identity and your future identity. We are multidimensional women. We cycle through all of the archetypes based off of the seasons that we're in. The creatrix is that foundation that starts leading you into that priestess, that goddess identity that naturally she is aligned to the creator, she is aligned to the universe, and everything just materializes at a thought. So we are starting at that baseline of the creatrix because that's the energy that everyone is in right now. And so I think definitely use that as an outline to journal. And I think that you'll find that as you're going through that process, you're going to say, okay, I need to join this mastermind. It's really going to be transformative.
All right, I think we're at time. I want to thank everyone who joined us. Ronnie and I will be live again next week. We will be check out any of our social medias. We have the links on there of where we're going to be. Also, check out the Ronnie was talking about the outline is on my website, Christy Godwin Psychic Medium, either under classes or under events. Also, if you're on my email list, you would have gotten an email today about it. We would love to see you there. Please sit with what Ronnie said. Go and look at the outline. Sit with the journal with it. Are you feeling led to head in that direction? All right. I want to thank everyone for being here. If you were here live or watching the replay, we so appreciate you today. Y'all have a good
Thanks,
day.
everyone. Bye.